Donald Trump has not even taken office yet, and the people that voted for him are already having regrets.
We f***ed up.
Their sudden desire to take it all back has become incredibly apparent with how many people have been Googling if they can change their vote.
Here's how you can change your vote after you voted if you feel like you chose the wrong candidate. You can't, but a lot of you are looking it up, specifically after the election. A lot of y'all are looking up how you can change your vote. This is November the 6th, right here. People were looking up how they can change their vote after Donald Trump won. And the results just keep going up. They teetered off a little bit, but now people are starting to ask the question again, can I change my vote? You can't do that. It's over. Look at where the Google searches are coming from. Wisconsin, a red state. New Hampshire, a red state. Oklahoma, a red state. Pennsylvania, a red state. Idaho, a red state. These are all states that went for Donald Trump. And this right here is within the last 24 hours. People are still Googling this phrase and asking how they can change their vote after the election is done. But then again, look at the states that they're coming from. Places like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama. I see California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. A lot of these states went for Donald Trump. I don't know if America's in the find out stage yet, but surely a lot of y'all did around.
Sadly, this is the price of political ignorance, but then again, they voted for this and now they're getting exactly what they asked for.
And the person we are now betting on to change all of it is Donald Trump, a man who did two almost impossible things. He won the American presidency twice, and he drove a casino into the ground. What will the future hold now that America has just decided that we're going to F around and find out?
But this time around, they can't claim that they didn't know what they were voting for. A pathological liar who is not only void of ethics, morals, and all intelligence, but is also an adjudicated rapist, a 34-time convicted felon, a serial fraudster, and a traitor who stole our nation's secrets and tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election. I mean, this regret is exactly what happened the first time Trump was elected. Like this woman who voted for Trump in 2016 and then feared that she would lose her Obamacare plan that saved her life. Fast forward to 2024, and you have Trump supporters thinking that Obamacare and the Affordable Health Care Act are two separate things. One Trump supporter posted online, "I just voted for Trump. He's gonna kill Obamacare. I'm unemployed and Obamacare fucking sucks. I'd rather just have the ACA by itself instead of this communism shit." Another user responded with, "Obamacare is the ACA. It is literally keeping you alive. You voted to take away your health care." And then the original poster blamed Democrats for their mistake. It's literally the bike fall meme. Republicans voting for Trump and then blaming Democrats when their cult daddy takes away their health insurance. Trump told us Americans countless times that he would show us his magnificent healthcare plan in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
We are coming out with that plan in 2 weeks.
Since 2015, Trump has promised to repeal Obamacare, but the best thing that he has to show for it after 9 years is concepts of a plan.
Yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
And if we go back to 2017, a woman regretted voting for Trump after her undocumented husband was deported.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
That wife thought that Trump would only deport the criminals and troublemakers. This just in, woman who joined the leopards eating faces party is shocked to find out a leopard would eat her face. More on this at 11. But I can tell you from my own experience that when Republicans denigrate Mexicans, they're talking about all Latinos. I mean, I have people in my comments that say that I should go back to where I came from and that they hope that ICE raids my house and deports me.
What?
But Trump supporters are so fucking dumb and racist that they can't even be bothered to do their own research. I was born here and I'm a citizen of this country. And now in 2024, you have people from the Latino community who voted for Trump thinking that they're fine and safe from the mass deportation that Trump is planning. And don't even get me started on the uncommitted movement who thought that they would teach Democrats a lesson by voting for Donald Trump, the guy who put in place a Muslim ban in 2017. So now, for many Trump supporters, the buyer's remorse is beginning to set in, and honestly, I couldn't care less because they voted for this and I hope they enjoy the consequences of their decision. Now, did I expect better from us? Yeah, I did, but Then I remember that our country is sadly built on a foundation of racism and sexism, and while that is not the only reason that Trump won, it does play a big part when the other candidate running for president is a biracial woman who is more qualified than the convicted felon. I also remember that more than half of adults in our country have literacy skills below a 6th grade level, reading conspiracy tweets pushed by Elon Musk, watching right-wing propaganda shows and manosphere podcasts. It's a hell of a drug, especially when that drug is full of lies and empty promises that come from a fear-mongering bigot. One of the biggest lies that MAGA believed without hesitation was tariffs, which was another key trend on Google with a 250% surge across 3 different searches. Will tariffs cause inflation? Things to buy before tariffs, and Wall Street Journal tariffs. One of the reasons that Trump supporters have no idea what tariffs are is because they believe the unintelligible mush that came out of Donald Trump's mouth.
The higher the tariff, the more likely it is to have them come into the country.
The higher the tariff, the more you're going to put on the value of that piece, those goods, the higher people are going to have to pay in shops.
Ready? The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That will take many, as you know, that will take many years.
In fact, I'll tell you, you know, there's another theory is that the tariff, you make it so high, so horrible, so obnoxious that they'll come right away. When I do the 10%, 10% is really, first of all, 10% when you collect it is hundreds of billions of dollars. The numbers that you're talking, all reducing our deficit. But really, so there's 2 ways of looking at a tariff. You can do it as a money-making instrument, or you can do it as something to get the companies. Now, if you want the companies to come in, the tariff has to be a lot higher than 10%, because 10% is not enough. Guys, they're not going to do it for 10. But you make a 50% tariff, they're going to come in.
These people voted for Trump. They made their bed, and now they're going to have to lie in it. And speaking of beds, I want to quickly thank today's sponsor, Miracle Made. Did you know that traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat? It can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses, and it's just gross. Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning antibacterial bedding, such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent up to 99.7% of bacteria growth and require up to 3 times less laundry. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and feel as nice if not nicer than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe to try Miracle Sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Gabe at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe and use the code Gabe to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Gabe to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. One genius Trump supporter wrote on Twitter, "You people are so uneducated on economics. It's insane. I'm so glad Trump is planning on ending the Department of Education." Nope, that is not a joke. He really means that. You pay a tariff on the price to the business, not the consumer, dummy. Tariffs raise the cost of goods for consumers. They are inflationary, and no matter how much Trump yells about how he thinks they work, they don't work that way at all. Also, I don't think anyone should follow the business advice of the guy who has bankrupted at least 6 businesses. I mean, Trump bankrupted his casino, which is unheard of. The house always wins. Unless you're Trump and then they just demolish the house. But here's a pretty good breakdown of tariffs for any Trump supporters who may be watching.
Anything for the foreseeable future. That orange tub of lard isn't even in office yet, and the effects of him winning the election are already being felt. Companies are already preparing to hike up their prices as much as 15 to 20% just in preparation for those dumbass tariffs. People are already getting their Christmas bonuses cut because the companies they work for are having to order more product before it gets way more expensive to do so. Because what you mouth-breathing troglodytes fail to understand is that a tariff isn't a tax on another country. It's a fine paid by an American business to import goods from another country. And all of y'all are about to get a very painful lesson on just how little the stuff we consume is actually made here. Well, it'll give American businesses an incentive to make their products here. You are so dense that light bends around you. You also don't understand how capitalism works. There is no company that will ever pay an American worker upwards of $15 to $20 an hour and then provide health insurance on top of that when they have the option of paying a 9-year-old kid in a Southeast Asian country pennies a day for the exact same work. Not to mention, whether you like it or not, a very large portion of the agricultural workforce in the United States, you know, the people who make the food that goes into our grocery stores, are undocumented migrants. You really think getting rid of all them is somehow going to make it less expensive to go to the grocery store? And look, is it fucked up that we rely on grievously underpaying people in order to keep costs low? Absolutely. But that's fucking capitalism for you. Companies under capitalism have one goal and one goal only, and that is to make as much money as possible. And you are out of your goddamn fucking mind if you think they will ever willingly eat into their own profits rather than passing the cost onto people like you and me. A lot of y'all are about to discover what it's like to be poor for the very first time, and the rest of us are not going to have any sympathy for you at all. Those of us who know what it's like to be poor, we're gonna struggle, but we're gonna survive just like we've always done. But I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of any of you who voted for Pumpkin Spice Palpatine when the price of a carton of eggs shoots up to $18.
And remember how I mentioned healthcare earlier? Well, guess what? Tariffs impact that as well.
Increased costs of medical equipment and supplies. Many medical devices and supplies are produced or assembled internationally, and tariffs on imports can make these goods more expensive. Every hospital and clinic needs these things, and though you don't directly pay for them during your visits, the facility will charge more to your insurance, which can drive up your premiums and deductibles. 2. Higher drug prices. Many drugs are manufactured or sourced from countries like China and India, which produce a significant share of what we call active pharmaceutical ingredients. Increased costs for these can affect both branded and generic drug manufacturers in the US, leading to higher prices for both insurers and consumers. 3. Impact on supply chain and availability. I hope most of us understand that high tariffs can disrupt the global supply chain and cause delays and shortages. And in periods of high demand like the COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain disruptions compounded by tariffs can lead to sharp price increases on essential items like ventilators, PPEs, and critical medications. 4. Cost increases for research and development. This is close and dear to my heart because I'm a researcher myself. High tariffs on specialized equipment, chemicals, or biotech products can increase the cost of R&D and slow down innovation. All in all, these are just some of the ways I think high tariffs can affect the healthcare system as well as you as a patient. What I don't want to see is for these changes to widen the healthcare disparity that we already see in this country.
We tried to warn Trump supporters, but they just didn't want to listen. They didn't want to listen to anything we had to say. So now we're at the point where we can't stop them from burning their hand on the hot stove. All I can say is I sure hope voting for Trump was worth it. Well, that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to follow me. I am Gabe Sanchez. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe to the audio version of What Was That, perfect for when you're on the go or just relaxing. Catch every episode wherever you listen to podcasts. So until the next episode, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?